the like button. Fantastic. Fantastic. The voice of reason. They're trying to shut him down. They could never shut down Angelo Cataldi. Here is the Bible of Philly sports. I'm going to start calling loud the Bible for Philadelphia sports talk. Angelo, there's only one request that I have. My wife would like you to do this for me. Can you please pick some lottery numbers and some Powerball numbers for me? Because you predicted that the Eagles would lose to the Giants in the Meadowlands. Can you please pick us some Powerball numbers?
I just gotta say it's a depressing day. By the way, that book you were holding, I started doing the audio book today, right?
Oh, that's fantastic.
I did 4.5 hours in a studio. Be careful what you wish for. I was begging for them to do it. Now I'm going, oh my God, I'm working again. I got to do this all week until I get through the book. Oh my God. But the real story, I was in the city today. A cloud is hovering over the city of Philadelphia now as we brace for one last embarrassment next Monday night against Tampa. And when that happens, and I see no way it cannot happen based on the defensive performance against the Giants in the first half. When that happens, put on a helmet because it's going to be a contact sport around here for a few weeks. I'm telling you, Dan, I have never seen a coach lose the support of a city faster or more spectacularly than Nick Sirianni has in the past 2 months. I've never seen it. It's unprecedented. They're now calling what we're witnessing right now with this Eagles team from 10-1 to this, 10-1 to this. The worst collapse in Philadelphia sports history since 1964, when the Phillies blew a 6.5 game lead with 10 to go. And I'm telling you, this is not a forgiving city. I don't think there's a chance Sirianni survives if he loses next Monday night. I think he's gone. And I think he should be gone. I think he should be gone if he wins and loses the next week, which he will, against either the Cowboys or the Niners, or whoever they face. Are you watching the defense?
I couldn't believe how they just quit.
Do they look like any of them even know where to be on the field?
No.
Did you see the offense when there was a Wink Martindale blitz? Did they seem to have any idea what to do about it?
No. They had no answers.
Coaching. It's all coaching. Coaching. I don't know. Maybe Nick Sirianni got lobotomized sometime in October or early November. Whatever it is, Dan, it's almost like no one's coaching the team now. And then he comes out after games and talks about everybody's 0-0 now. And I believe in my team because of the fight in that locker room. And you're going, we're watching the same games you are. They've checked out.
Could you believe how much it was 2 minutes into the game and the body language. The game was 10-0 Washington in the first, and then it was 10-7 middle of the second. They waved a white flag, and they didn't have Fletcher playing. They played some of the other guys. It was almost like they were half in. Then they decided to wave the flag. Dude, if you were going to just concede the East, you should have did it all out in the beginning, concede the East. I'm telling you, Angelo, I've never seen a nuclear meltdown like this in my entire life. None
of us have.
As a player or covering it, I've never seen this.
So I'm watching the coach for his explanation for what you just described, because he checked out. He took out, Hurts went back in, then came out for good. He checked out, took out his starters. And he said at the time, the Cowboys, that was still a game that the Eagles could end up with a 2 seed. The Cowboys were only ahead by 4.
Yeah.
But I looked at our team, and we were down 24-0. And I decided to do it. In other words, he didn't think his team could beat the Giants. who were playing for nothing with their backup quarterback.
with a half left of football.
And he said, no, I'm knowing when to fold them. What's he saying about his own team? He's saying, I didn't think there was any way we could score 24 points. Well, then how are you even in the playoffs? How bad do you think your own team is if you quit?
How about this, Angelo? But will it matter if you fire him Tuesday when you have the same philosophical mentality?
No, you're right.
Aren't they going to just hire Nick Sirianni 2.0 on Wednesday?
That's the fun I'm having on my emails. I've been deluged with emails the past few days. They want Belichick.
That would never happen.
They want Jim Harbaugh, right?
That would never happen.
And that's the whole point. Yeah, if you got a strong coach in there, the owner and the GM aren't going to be able to just pull the strings. And they don't want that. So you're 100% right. Unless they change the philosophy, unless this is so embarrassing. What we witnessed the past 7 weeks has been unprecedented. If it's so embarrassing, it gets Jeff Lurie, the owner, and Howie Roseman, the GM, to say, we got to get a strong coach in here. We got to let him do his job. Unless they say that, this is a cycle that will continue to repeat itself.
You know what, Angelo? He has shown that, though. Chip was just the wrong hire.
Yes, you're right. You're right.
But he did go, and when Chip goes, this guy needs to get out of my room, he moved him to the broom closet.
Yeah.
So to me, when does it get to that point for the owner to go like this? Because to me, I think the only guy in that building that doesn't have guardrails is Howie Roseman.
Yes.
He's the only guy. So does he put guardrails on him? Because look at the last 3 drafts. Name me one player that they've drafted in the last 3 drafts that they've gotten anything out of when it comes to production on the field.
Well, they thought they had the big guys in the middle of the defensive line.
You know what Gary Cobb said today? You know what Gary Cobb said? He goes like this. Cobb goes, you see what they're doing since Patricia's been the coach? I go, no. He goes, they're playing the 2 guys in 2 gap now. I'm like, what? So they moved these guys off of shades, 3 and a 1, like Reggie and Jerome used to play, getting penetration, getting in the backfield, getting up the field, getting pressure, to doing this, playing slug football, 2-gapping, so their shitty linebackers can make plays, and they have trash can line. Matt Patricia's made the defense worse.
He did, which was almost impossible, and he did it. Matt Patricia is like having a disease. You have to cut the tumor out. He's killing the team. There's no doubt about it, all right? But Nick Sirianni is the head coach. You would stand by and watch this happen. All these weeks that have gone by, you wouldn't intercede. You wouldn't get involved. You wouldn't go, forget it, guys. I'll do it now. I'll do it.
Because those guys up above
then
the strings.
Well, then he should. I know what I would do. I'd go into that office and I'd say, it's them or it's me.
Yep.
You decide. I'll walk out today. You can get a different coach for the playoffs.
There's a better, and get this. Think about this, Angelo, at the end of it. If you're Nick Sirianni, they're going to pull a Doug Peterson and go, hey, we want to pull these coaches in here. And if you don't really have and don't like these changes, we want to know your opinion. And that's kind of how they started the revolving chain to go outside the door for Doug. And that's how they'll start that for him. Well, we decided to part ways because Nick didn't want to go down with the changes. Maybe that's how they end up getting rid of him. When at the end of the day here, I don't think Nick has that kind of leverage in the building because Doug won the Super Bowl.
But Dan, they don't have to justify anything. Look what you're seeing. You have to coach. If a coach has 2 months to fix a problem this egregious, and he has done nothing to fix it, is he not announcing to the world, I don't know what I'm doing. I have no clue. You could see how far that Hurts has regressed when Steichen left as offensive coordinator. Hurts is not the same player.
He looks like Baker Mayfield.
That's offense. Defense, my God, the two guys they've used on defense, the defense has never been worse than it is right now. Never in anyone's memory have they been this futile with that amount of talent on the field.
How about this, Angelo?
It's coaching.
Angelo, what is a worse meltdown? Chip or this?
Oh, this is worse than Kotite. Kotite was 7-2. Kotite was 7-2 in 1995, and he went 0-7 in the final 7 games and got 5, right? But we kind of knew that was going in that direction. Kotite was a moron, all right? Sirianni has now established that he is in the Kotite level to me. Oh, yeah, I know. He won 11 games this year. I watched how he won 11. It was a one fluke after another. I went on San Francisco radio and they were 10-1, and I said they're the worst 10-1 NFL team in its history. If you watched the games, you knew they weren't that good. They were already losing it. And then, wow, the wheels came off. And now you're in crisis. So maybe, you know, I won't rule out, 100% rule out, as Nostradamus, I will not rule out that they will suddenly find something, find their footing somewhat and make it a game next Monday night. But I doubt they're going to win it. And I doubt Sirianni can survive this. If Sirianni survives this, let me say this. I know enough about the city. And I was with, you know, I watched the game with yesterday. The 3 best callers I ever had in my life. Kenny from the Dirty 30, Arson Arnie, and Eagle Shirley. All right? I watched it with. It was so bad that after it was 24-0, and they threw, Mariota came in and he threw a bubble screen. What else are they called? Yeah. Was picked off. Eagles Shirley, the heart and soul of the fan base of the Eagles, laughed.
Wow.
She laughed. And I went, what? And she said, what else can I do at this point? I don't even know how to react to that. She didn't. She lives for this stuff. And she couldn't believe it. If they bring Sirianni back, no matter who they dress up around him, they're screwed. He has lost the city and most likely the locker room. He has to go. I don't even think he can survive a win on Monday night and a slaughter the next week against the great team, one of the great teams. I don't even think then, Dan, that he could get through this. He doesn't know how to coach. If he had any idea how to coach, he would have done something about this.
How come they're so not able to have constructive criticism I've never seen a coach do Newt Rockne speeches after you're killed. And you're in a city like Philly that when something doesn't look good and it smells rotten, you tell them it's rotten. You don't tell them, hey, here's the old college try.
Exactly. And it showed you he doesn't even have enough creativity to read the audience and say to himself, well, I can't keep selling this baloney. Nobody's buying this crap. Well, they're watching what I'm watching. We're seeing them on the sideline. No more joking around and none of that now. Now he's like, whoa, what's going on? He doesn't even look like he knows what's going on. Dan, I've never seen anything like this.
You think he's the worst coach the Eagles have had in 30 years since Kotite?
Yeah, I do.
Wow.
And I think that, and I know you're going to say, what? He made the playoffs. 3 years he made the playoffs. And I'm going to say, and then Steichen left. And what happened then?
I'm going to give you a comparison when you knew that a coach wasn't who he was. Do you remember a guy named George Seifert? Remember Seifert? Oh, yeah. All the great records he had when he was in San Francisco. They won a Super Bowl. He was there. He had a 15-1. He gets the job in Carolina, goes 1-15. And here's a guy with one of the best win percentages in the history of the NFL with a Super Bowl ring, and he should be in the conversation for being in Canton. Instead, he was exposed in Carolina when the talent wasn't around him because he couldn't do anything to get out of his way. That's kind of what you have here a little bit with Nick. He's not who that record is.
No, he is not. And that can happen if you insulate him with the right people for a while, but not forever. Eventually, the truth will happen. And what happened here was, I now am positive of this. Steichen was the brains of the operation. He knew what he was doing. He got the best out of Hurts. He must have also offered some input into defense, because I'm unwilling to tell you Gannon knew what he was doing. I won't give up. I won't give up on that.
You're not surrendering that one, are you?
That defense still wasn't good last year. They certainly blew the Super Bowl. But my goodness, Sirianni. Here's the great irony of what we're witnessing right now. This is hilarious how we come full circle. You remember right after Sirianni got hired, he held a news conference that was an absolute disaster. He couldn't speak. He couldn't get sentences out. People were going insane in Philadelphia going, oh my God, this guy's a moron. There's no way he could be the coach. And everyone knew how he got the job, that basically he outweighted all the guys with more experience, and he went in and basically told the bosses, I'll do whatever you need. I'm a puppet. And they went, oh, this is our guy. Grab him. Let's do it. We now are back, all the way back around, Dan,
to that first
guy who
press
did the first news conference. Yep. That's who we got. Doesn't have a clue what he's doing. And he does it. Yeah. You don't even need to watch him coach. Listen to him talk. Just listen to the garbage he said after yesterday's game, and tell me that's a guy who's got a handle on this situation.
No, I think he's a fraud, and I don't think he's trustworthy.
You're right. There's going to be a lot of backlash when they fire him, because the guy made the playoffs. He was 10-1. What are you doing? I was watching the games. I'm sorry. Next time I won't watch the games.
Does he make it past Friday next week if he loses?
No. He's going Tuesday next week. He's fired. They lose. Let's say they lose 24-16, something like that, a touchdown or more.
And the Bucs are better than the Giants.
Yeah, I know that. And what do? A lot. They blitz.
And here, get this too. On the way out here, get this. Mayfield's thrown for 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns. Rashid White's got 1,000 yards pretty much. And he's got 64 catches for 550. And they got 2,000-yard wide receivers. You telling me you think that defense, which couldn't beat Drew Lock, Tommy DeVito, and Tyrod Taylor, and they couldn't beat a 3-win Cardinal team, you're telling me you're going to beat Todd Bowles and them guys? I don't see it, Angelo.
No, and here's the thing. They didn't score a touchdown yesterday against Carolina, a 2-15 team. But you know what? They're facing a much weaker defense than they did against Carolina.
That's right.
That's Monday night.
That's right. Carolina's got a better defense. That's right.
The Eagles are the worst defense in the National Football League right now. Right now. They're the worst. And when Mike Evans, when all those guys from the Buccaneers look at that, they're going to go, uh-oh, this should be fun. And it will be for them. And you know what, Dan? I'm good with it. I'm good. The Eagles now, I have lost all hope for this season. All hope. Zero. I have no hope.
With Bob
I would rather they lose next Monday night and Sirianni gets what he deserves. Boom. Done.
Would Bob Lang be on the phone?
Done.
Would Bob Lang be on the phone right now?
Oh, Bob. Bob, call me on my cell phone. I'll tell you what I really think.
The Philadelphia Sports Bible, loud. Our good friend Angelo Cataldi. Thank you so much.
In audiobook.
What's that?
Soon it will be out in audiobook.
Can't wait. Ange, we got one more week. And if that thing happens
next Tuesday, I will dress in all black and I'll be the mortician. And then I will say, what's correct?
Thank you, Angelo.
See you, Danny. Be
You
good,
got it.
buddy.
That's my friend, Angelo Cataldi. How about that? He said that Sirianni. Tone, he said that Sirianni's a worse coach than Kotai. All right. Joe, Xander, thank you. Tone, wow. Jaws is either on tomorrow or Wednesday. I can't wait to see how this week plays out. Don't forget, 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Football and Hooters, the perfect pair.